Okay. Hey everyone. Bear with me, we're going to try a little something different today. You see, one of the things that's always fascinated me is failure. And not just anyone's failures, like most of us are failures. I'm talking about the failures of the big stars. And not just any failure from them either. I'm talking about failures that artists couldn't come back from. Failures that were effectively career suicide for the poor souls who released them. And I thought I'd start with a nice long look at one of the most disastrous flops I can remember.
I hear the clock, it's 6 a.m.
This is Jewel. She came from Alaska. She played acoustic guitar. She wrote poetry. She played a lot of coffee houses. She had lived in her car. She yodeled. Very serious, earnest singer-songwriter, very 90s kind of music star, very popular with the Lilith Fair crowd. Beautiful voice. Clearly, she would carry the torch for thoughtful female folk music for the rest of her career. Right? In 2003, Jewel released her fourth album, 0304. I believe it's named after the dates she expected the album to be ubiquitously popular. A more fitting name would have been 03 for about 2 or 3 weeks, because that's about how long it lasted. And why? Because bizarrely, she decided to become a dance pop diva. Yes, the girl with the guitar decided to trade in her sincerity to become a full-on Britney Spears type pop star. It was one of the most nonsensical career moves in music history. It's like if in the 70s Johnny Mitchell had decided to become a disco queen. And unsurprisingly, it didn't pan out. It made a brief blip on the charts and then completely fizzled, ending up to be the last time anyone really heard or cared about Jewel. How did we get from there to here in just 6 short years? How? How? Well, let's find out. This is Train Records.
Things around the table are kind of rough.
Okay, before we get to Jewel's giant sellout, we first have to ask ourselves, was Jewel any good to begin with? And the answer is,
Dreams last for so long.
Okay, Jewel's first album made her famous with 3 big hit singles, which were all very spare and acoustic-y. My favorite was You Were Meant For Me.
Meant for me, and I was meant for you.
It's a great little song about post-breakup denial with a lot of sharp songwritery details in it. The other 2 singles, though,
You took your coat off.
Okay, I think these 2 songs illustrate my big problems with Jewel. One, she tends to oversing.
These foolish games are tearing me, you're tearing me.
It's so overwrought. She sounds like a really emotional Miss Piggy sometimes. It's just too much.
People living their lives for you on TV.
Her other big hit, and maybe this is the one that people really remember from her, is Who Will Save Your Soul. It's about the spiritual emptiness of modern life. Which brings me to my other big problem. Jewel wasn't that deep.
Who will save your souls when it comes to the flowers now? Who will save your souls?
I don't know, Jesus, I guess. Did you have any literature you wanted to share about the good news, or are you just asking smug questions?
Another doctor's bill, a lawyer's bill, another cute cheap thrill. You know,
I don't have lawyers. Who is this song even aimed at? And that's why she never really became like a critical darling. She always just kind of seemed like she was out of her depth. You may have seen the famous clip where Kurt Loder corrects her word choice. People remember this clip because you so rarely get to see celebrities get truth bombed to their face, but me, I'm just like, holy crap, she thought casualty meant casualness. That's not a minor error.
The people selling thoughtlessness with such casualty.
This woman is a published poet. Yeah, so unlike Tori Amos or Sheryl Crow, she didn't really retain a major following. Her second album didn't do nearly as well, nor her third, where she tried to kick it up a notch with some slicker production.
Or am I standing still?
I like this song personally, but it had been diminishing returns for 2 albums in a row now. It looked like she was going to fade into semi-obscurity like most of the rest of the Little Affair scene, but it turns out that album also had a fluke dance hit. Yes, a dance hit for Jewel. Who saw that coming, am I right? And then Jewel got an idea. An awful idea. Jewel got a terrible, awful idea. In May of 2003, Jewel released her big debut single for her new direction. It was called Intuition, and I remember being floored because this came right the fuck out of nowhere. Like, you think your mind was blown when Taylor Swift released her goddamn thing this year? Imagine if she'd released it right after Teardrops on My Guitar. That's how this felt.
I'm just a simple girl in a high-tech digital world.
But I think there's a much bigger problem than just the abruptness of the transition. It's that Intuition is just a heinous song. Jewel's main assets were her sweetness and simplicity, and they took that from her with a big, stupid, ugly pop song chorus that doesn't even scan properly. But even that's not the worst problem. See, I'm guessing they were concerned about alienating her fans, so they went with the one that lyrically most resembled one of her other hits.
The same as Jay's big but his boss. Kate Moss can't find a job. In a world of postmodern fad, what was good now is bad.
See, just like Who Will Save Your Soul, this is also all about the spiritual emptiness of the modern world. And the chorus is about how you should just ignore all that and be yourself. Now, like I said, I have never been impressed with Jewel's jabs at superficiality. I don't think she's ever even landed one punch.
You learn cool from magazines, you learned love from Charlie Sheen.
No one's ever learned love from Charlie Sheen. Not in his real life or his movies. I'm pretty sure he's never even been in a romance movie. Like, maybe Hot Shots, I guess. It's not clever, he was just an easy target with an easy-to-rhyme name. Yes, Charlie Sheen was already a punchline in 2003. It just seems like commentary from someone whose only experience with life is celebrity watching. But the really, really worst thing of all is how they try to reconcile pop diva Jewel with above-it-all poet-philosopher Jewel. I mean, she gave herself a big, flashy pop makeover with a song about being yourself? How do you make those two things fit? Like, isn't that hypocritical? Well, not to worry, folks. She's only pretending to sell out. Wink. I'm winking.
The video gets more and more ridiculous, more and more over the top, to where you hopefully, you know, it has to be a joke. By the time you're at the fireman scene, I'm being hosed down, you realize it's a pastiche on music videos and what happens in music videos.
See? It's a parody of a vapid pop song. It's ironic commentary on shallow commercialized music. She's not really getting hosed down while wearing booty shorts. I mean, yes she is, but it's a joke. And the video, like, it's just a parody of commercialization. And when it got used in actual ads that year, that was also ironic. Here, look, I'm gonna ironically hit my hand with this hammer. Ow! Oh, my hand is ironically hurting. Ah, I'm groaning in ironic agony. It's a cop-out is what it is. It's Jewel trying to pretend she's not doing what she's doing. And even if I bought any of that, which I don't, the song would be basically self-defeating. I mean, what it's telling me is, this song sucks, don't listen to it. I can only describe this entire thing as a really bad Shakira song. What with the over-singing, the questionable songwriting choices. And here's the thing, Shakira has also always had difficulty splitting the difference between her pop and songwriter sides. But she's pop on purpose. That's who she is. Jewel, meanwhile, without a guitar in her hand, she just looks like she doesn't know what to do with her hands.
Simple in a high-tech digital world, and I try to understand all the power of this land.
I mean, I can tell what her intuition is telling her to do. It's telling her, let me go home.
Walk in a corner shop, see a shop lifting cups.
The first single was the only one I ever heard, but apparently she also released a second, called Stand.
Children sleep, so much violence ends in silence. It's a shame there's no one to blame.
And quite honestly, it's pretty redundant. It's more, ooh, I'm alienated by the shallowness of society. Not something she should have doubled down on.
Waitress brings me lunch. We meet but do not touch on.
Sound-wise, I gather that the model for what she was trying to do was Nelly Furtado. Furtado also had her whole hippy-dippy, Eastern tinge pop thing going on, and that seems to be what Jewel's trying, but she doesn't have any of Nelly Furtado's spiritual vibe. She just sounds haughty and pretentious.
Go to the counter, pay for me and my friend. A homeless man pulls out a roll, says it's on him. The mail has no cash.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, Stand did not take off, and the final single didn't get a video, I don't think. It was called To Become One. Wait, hold on, To Become One? No, I reject this on principle. That title has been claimed.
When to become one.
Jeez, what else you got in there, Jewel? Love don't cost a thing too? I'm also a genie in a bottle?
If you want my love, you can drown my love.
Honestly, revisiting this whole album is interesting in 2017 when pop music is a comparatively respectable genre and its performers are often highly acclaimed songwriters. This would have been an understandable move now, but in 2003, in the days of Britney Spears, it was just such a hard sell. What was she thinking? Well, the liner notes give us a hint. Dear fans, where to start? Where indeed. This record may seem different to you, yeah, no kidding. I wanted to make a record that was a modern interpretation of big band music. A record that was lyric-driven like Cole Porter.
Night and day, you are the one. Only you beneath the moon and under the sun.
But I'm no Cinderella to your storybook fella. You and M-E spells L-O-V-E-T, me.
I'm not hearing it. The weird thing is, even then, she had so many better options to emulate than Shakira or Nelly Furtado if she wanted to go pop. I mean, look who else was getting big at the time. Pink, Michelle Branch, even Avril Lavigne. All of them wrote personal songs with a pop sheen. Jewel could have and should have tried that, and there are a few times where she does, and actually, I'll be honest, it's pretty good. Those good songs were songs she could have made without the makeover. The whole album falls apart when she's trying to be upbeat party Jewel.
Say hello to the room where the body's jumping, where the boys all freak 'cause the boots are bumping, where the girls are naughty and always saying, yes you can, yes you can, yes you can.
Turns out, there is no upbeat party Jewel. She can't sell it. This woman doesn't go clubbing. And if she does, she doesn't drink anything harder than cappuccinos. And one last note, that whole Cole Porter comparison. Well, there's one additional connection that she made. You see, Cole Porter made music to cheer people up during the darkness of the Depression and the war. And we were also coming off a national tragedy and going to war in 2003. So that whole lifting home front spirits idea is probably why she mostly stays out of politics, as did most everyone in that feeble time for pop culture. However, she does make a couple comments here and there. Especially in this one called America.
We are trying in America, we're spying in America, getting high in America.
Yeah, America. Shop at the Gap, do yoga. This is critical commentary of some kind. And the liner notes say the label made her change some of the lyrics. Honestly, that may be why her enthusiasm seems to run out halfway through and the lyrics just kind of give up.
We are getting tan in America. We love spam in America. Polanski's banned from America.
Take that, America, you spam-eating non-Polanskis. Well, after that, Jewel basically faded into the background. Her next album was a more traditional one that was basically an apology for doing all this pop shit in the first place. And since then, she's been strictly independent. Although if you want to still see her, you can check her out in Framed for Murder, a fixer-upper mystery. Was the project salvageable? Maybe with a better lead single. But the lead single is meant to be a big statement, and it's not clear that there's any statement that would have made this project make sense. And it's not like she was the last songwriter to go straight plastic pop either. It worked for Gwen Stefani, but she eased herself into it. It worked for Nelly Furtado because she had the tunes to back it up. But Jewel as a folktronica dance pop artist was never anything but insincere, awkward, and confused. She was not following her intuition when she went in this direction. And if she was, man, her intuition, like, really sucks.